over. You're going to learn Spanish. It's conocer, to know. You're going to have saber, to know, another way of being able to say that. And you're going to have a conjugated verb. You're going to have flashcards. Is everybody with me on that so far? See, it's amazing how many people are actually broke based on the fact that it's real simple to be wealthy. Why is it that most people, I'm going to tell you, I studied from 2 billionaires. And currently, one of my mentors is Donald Trump. My other one is Richard Branson, and Les Brown is one of my business partners and senior business advisors. And so I had a guy who was flat out wealthy. He had trained 2 billionaires in his life. He said, you know why people are not wealthy? I had to ask this. I was like jarring my head. I'm like, no. He said, most people say they want to be wealthy, but most people don't want to do what it takes to be wealthy. Everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die. So everybody with me on that so far? See, becoming successful is like going to a health gym. It's already there. It's actually easier to reach a 7-figure income, even an 8-figure income, than it is to make $100,000 in your first year. It's actually easier. It's easier to actually make $100,000 than it is to make $10,000. Is anybody understanding that? Yeah. Why? Because you've already learned how to do it. The hardest thing in being able to build a piece of property is building your first property. Once you learn how to build it, now it's just a matter of how many you want to build and how quickly you want to build it and how proficient and effective you want to be at doing it. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. So I ask specific questions because you want to write this down. No matter what life or line of business you're in, you want to be a servant leader. Leadership is everything, no matter what it is. You're either leading, following, or getting stampled on. That's what it's coming down to. As a mother, she has to be a leader. As a father, you have to be a leader. If you're in real estate, you have to be a leader. Or you're following. What makes each one of you extraordinary in the sense is that it's just that one, you're taking time out of your life and out of your day to come and get information you don't have. Now there are the cynical and the skeptical and the doubtful people, but those are the people that want the elevator. What do I mean by the elevator? See, we live in a society today where everybody wants microwave success. Everybody wants to go to the top really fast. But when they get there, the reason why they don't stay, even if they find a way to get there, is because they went there really fast and never learned that you got to take it step by step. There's a reason why you start at the bottom. See, the true leaders are somewhere sitting in here, somebody who's sitting in here who says, I want to make $1 billion and I want to be the greatest servant to be able to give it all away. I learned something about money. I'm going to give you 4 dimensions. I'm just giving you gold nuggets because this is just a teaser before this evening. Is everybody with me? Say yes. Yes. I can't hear you. Say yes.
Yes.
Why? Because if you're going to play in this room with me, it's called participation. Or you can go and get something to eat and come back. I talk to a group as if I'm talking to one person, and so many people just come like they're actually going to an NHL or NBA game. They're just, they stay in the stands. See, you'll notice that the people that have the most amount of opinions are the ones that sit in the stands. The ones that make millions of dollars are the ones who are actually on the court. You have to get on the court in order to be a professional and make millions of dollars. But everybody, is that making sense to everybody? You talk to people and they, you know what, let me give you this is my opinion about what you're doing. I didn't ask you for your opinion. I invited you to make $1 million with me. I invited you to buy a house. I invited you to do a transaction. I invited you for an opportunity. But you have a poor state of mind. We got to get past this poor state of mind. Those taking copious notes, write down poor. What does poor stand for? Passing over opportunity repeatedly. That's what it is. See, there's a distinction between a poor state of mind and a broke state of mind. Broke, you can fix. That's why words are so powerful. My son and anybody in my world knows there's 5 words that you can never use. Number 1 is I. I can only be used when I'm helping somebody else out. Otherwise, you're separated. Language is very powerful in business. Business is all about language. Language is very powerful in business. Business is all about language. Those that are here that want to be consummate businessmen, people, entrepreneurs at the highest level, there's a distinction between people, which you guys agree, that a person that makes 8 figures has a different conversation than a person that makes 7 figures. Yes or yes? Yes. Would you agree that people that make 7 figures have a different conversation than people that make 6 figures?
Yes.
And people that make 6 figures have a different conversation than people that are making $50,000 and $40,000 a year. So if you truly want to elevate your income level and make the comma move, you're going to have to change your language.
And 100 million is a whole different ballgame.
There you go. It's a different conversation. The comma and the zero start to move. Yeah. Is everybody with me? Yes or yes?
Yes.
You have to, because see, I want you guys to get something. He can actually speak Indian, he can speak Spanish, I can speak Portuguese. We can say the exact same thing, but we're not going to understand each other. Anybody get that conversation?
Yeah.
See, you're talking to people, but the reason why people are not buying is not because the opportunity is there, it's because they don't understand you. Because if they overstood your conversation and could get as excited as you would do about whatever you're offering and whatever you're marketing, they would buy in a heartbeat because they aren't getting what you're offering because you're talking in a different language. You haven't learned how to alter your language to speak into the listening of what they're talking about. That's why the New York Times is written in 2nd and 3rd grade English, and the Wall Street Journal is written in 10th grade English. They have a specific demographic they're trying to reach. But what we do as business people, we say the same thing to everybody. Is everybody following me on that so far? If whatever deal it is, we're hoping that the right person is going to buy the deal. You know how crazy that is? That's like me actually going out with one woman, kissing her on her neck, and she gets totally excited. And then I go out and we break up. I go out with the next woman. I'm kissing all on her neck. And she's like, why are you all on my neck? I'm like, it worked on the last one. Are you guys following what I'm saying in that so far? Yes. See, each dynamic and each person is different. And you have to learn how to read people. That's a language and what we're going to cover in the next session for those that want to be able to see somebody before they come. You've got to be able to see and read a person so that you can serve them properly before they step into your world. Is everybody with me? Yes or yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what my job is today is to find out exactly what you want, more so than anything else. How high do you want to go? I mean, who wants to go to the sky?
Right here.
I do.
If you can see the sky, you can't
Space.
see.
Hell
Yeah,
no,
but see, I mean,
space.
that's where you start. You start at the sky because you can already see the sky. Anybody get this so far? Stick with me on this. Your income right now, wherever it is because you can see it. What you want to get to a place is where you can't see. That's why vision stands for vision. Write this down for those taking notes. Vision, the acronym itself. Vision inspires success in others now. Vision inspires success in others now. That's why from a spiritual realm, you're saying those without vision shall perish. Vision is applied in everything from Buddhism to Catholic, all the way back to Christianity, all the way to Muslim, all the way back and down to Jew. I mean, it's just in every world. It comes down to what you can't see. That's why it's called faith. So you got to have the ingredients to make the right cake. Is everybody with me on this so far? Yes or yes?
Yes.
So what people do, and so you get a greater understanding of who I am. People generally that make at least 6 figures or more, generally $500,000 or more, come to me, and wherever they want to be in 5 years, it's my job to get them there in 2 years. It's called mental gymnastics. It's stretching your brain where it will never go back to the original state. How many people know if you're going to actually work out, you have to tear the fascia? You have to get into it, and you got to break it, then you got to let it heal, and then it's going to grow bigger because it's going to come back stronger because you're going to break it and break it and break it. Does that make sense to anybody? See, success is just like a health gym. On New Year's Eve, everybody says, I want to make money and get in shape. On New Year's Day, 1,000 people get a membership, and a year later, one person looks good. They didn't move the equipment. Is everybody getting that? Yes or yes?
Yep.
So in your head, you got to understand, what is your dream? What is the package all about? How many people would like to be the package that everybody is looking for? Did that make sense? Nobody answered. It was a question. How many people would like to be that person or that package that is like, they're just the full package?
I do.
That everybody is looking for. You become that law of attraction that you don't have to look for business, but business looks for you.
Hell yeah.
Does everybody like the way that sounds?
Yes.
Let's get down to the package so we understand this in the opening. So package, start with the P. The P stands for presentation. When you got up this morning, did you just get up and feel good about yourself? See, or did you feel great about yourself? Or did you feel okay about yourself? How did you feel? Okay? I'll give you a prime example. How did you feel when you got up this morning? Mm-hmm.
Great.
Now, stand up for me. It's a beautiful outfit, by the way. Is that the outfit that makes you feel beautiful, or is that the outfit that makes you feel great?
Both.
Okay. Which one did you depict when you got up in the morning? Which one stood out first? You got to pick one or the other. Great or beautiful? When you go out to a black tie affair,
Comfort.
so you feel great.
Yeah.
So first you were concerned with your greatness. Is everybody with me on that so far?
Yeah.
Right. So give her a round. Okay. Here, stand up for me. When you stood up and you got dressed this morning, you knew you were going to feel great. Did you know that you're going to look beautiful? In your head, did you know? Did you put it together? In your head, it's a question. Did you feel, I'm going to look beautiful today? You knew you feel good. See, women know when they put it together to make. She knew when she put that outfit on. Everybody gonna look at me. She went back to the mirror 5 times. Give her a round. No, seriously. You can tell women because they become peacocks. You can tell people based on how they feel, based on the way they carry themselves. She's been in and around because not because she's doing it consciously, but because she knows she put effort and energy into that. She did as well. Hers was into feeling great because she just wanted to be present to the opportunity. I promise you, if she had to actually be a host or work here today, her whole outfit would be different, wouldn't it? Yes, it would. Because it'll be more like, okay, I need everybody to know I got my stuff together. But see, when you get to that where you can combine great with great feeling, with great look, and you can do that on a daily basis, knowing that everybody is looking at the package before they see your mouth open. Is anybody getting this conversation? Yes. See, there is no dress rehearsal for your life. You got to show up as if it is a win. If you're going to live in a champion mentality, if you're going to win all the time, then you have to act all the time like a champion. It's not part-time, sometime. Well, I'm just going to feel kind of good today. I'm just going to throw my hair together. See, I don't want to have to do my hair. That's why I cut it off. I know it looks good every day. I don't have to worry about it. Is anybody understanding this?
Yes.
See, everything is about your package. If you really want, you got to become that attraction where people are coming to you. They can see you. There's not a man or woman in here when you go out, whether it's a dinner party, whether it's a black tie affair, whether you have to host an event, where when you put stuff on, you know, man and woman, is like, I look good today. Oh no, the world don't stop for me today. And women are the worst because they're like, they can walk by a guy, she has no interest in him. But the way, especially when women work out and they take care of themselves, and she walks by, I know he's looking at me. She ain't have to look back. Now, don't let it be somebody she's attracted to, because she'll walk back and look back. Told you he was looking at me. Are y'all following that so far? How many people understand this conversation? But it's the same thing for men as well. We know when we put time and energy into coordinating our outfit, does this look like let's put some time into it? I want to know, I'm not doing it for applause, but I feel good because I put the good feeling in it. I feel great because I know I look good. See, when you know you look good to yourself, you don't have to worry about if anybody else thinks you look good because you already know. I look good. And when you have that feeling about you, things happen. See, everything is about inertia. Everything is about energy. Everything is about what you put out into the universe. Back to words again and understanding language. You can write this down. Uni, U-N-I, stands for one. Verse, V-E-R-S-E, stands for song. That's why music is the only thing that brings every culture and every nationality and every race and every child, man, woman, and whatever generation together. Because it sings into everybody. It has a certain algorithm. It has a certain energy, a certain rhythm that everybody can actually. Woodstock did that. Reggae, certain music does that. Does everybody follow me on that so far? You can go into any culture and listen to music from an Indian culture, from a Moroccan culture, from a Persian culture, from a black or hip-hop culture, from a rock culture, from a culture, and guess what? You can find one song in every genre of music that everybody will be like, I feel good about it. It just changes your whole mood. It changes your whole state. And that's what you got to learn how to do, is get into a state. You can write that down. It's about a state, a mental state, where you live in the law of expectancy. You expect things to happen good for you. You don't go into a deal saying, I hope that, I got this deal and it's really good and I'm packaging it. I hope that they buy it today. See, you go in saying, I already know the deal is sold. I'm trying to figure out which one's going to get it. Who's going to show up to get this because it's done. And in fact, I want to have it done by 12 noon so I can celebrate by 1 and be toasting with some wine. When you have that mentality and you go into your life like that every single day of your life, how many people know that's just a great feeling?
Hell yeah.
That's the feeling that you have to have. You got to, but see, that's not something that happens because you closed the deal. The deal was closed before you started. Every champion has won the game before the game even started. There's not one NHL team, there's not one NBA team, there's not one NFL team, there's not one real estate team, there's not one attorney team, there's not one medical staff, there's not one person that lives in the top 3 percentile in that greatness that does not expect greatness to happen and for them to win every time.
That's right.
When things go wrong, they're actually shocked, like, what just happened here? It didn't go right. That's not supposed to happen to me. That's what distinguishes the 3% from the 97% that work for the 3%. 97% of the population lives and dies for the 3% that control and orchestrate the rest of the world. You got to establish before you walk out of here, since you're here to get something. From this day forward, are you going to continue to live in the 97%? Or will you live in the 3%?
I'm 3%, brother.
I know you are.
I know you are.
But you got to claim that. How many people can tell he could care less what you think about him? Raise your hand. That's standing out. We're going to go somewhere with that. So you got to learn how to stand out. Stop worrying about what people think about you, how people see you. That's what I'm saying. When you feel good about yourself and you look great about yourself, you don't really care because you already know, you've already done. See, when you do your best, my son asked me this question. I asked him, and we went back and forth in a dialogue, and he said, Daddy came and he said, what do you think Daddy wants from you? And he said, Daddy, you want me to be the best. I said, no, I never want you to be the best. All I need you to do is do your best. See, if you do your best, I never have worried about you being the best. See, you heard people say, how many people have heard somebody say on a deal or something in their life, whatever they did, I did my best. Has anybody heard somebody say that before? Yeah. Here's what you need to know about the lie in their head. When somebody tells you they did their best, they're lying. Because when you did your best, you never have to tell nobody. It shows up. When you have to convince other people, validate your actions, share with this person why this or this is, I really did do my best. No, when you're living in that zone, you're walking away saying, I just messed that up. In a good way, meaning I just ripped that. If I'm doing a presentation, I know when I ripped it up. Because I'm in a specific zone. Is anybody understanding this so far? Yes. See, you got to understand you want to grow. If you grow, if you work out, remember this, if you work out and it doesn't hurt, you didn't work out.
That's right.
It's supposed to stretch you. See, it was a stretch for me to be here today. I'm at the top of my game at what I'm doing. At being able to change people's lives, I got people I've created. When I made this decision for transformation, I made a decision to say, not I wanted to be a multimillionaire. I made a decision I wanted to create more multimillionaires than any man has done on this planet within the realm in which I live. That's what my goal was. I'm now past 100 multimillionaires that I've created.
Wow.
That's not bad for a young black man that was supposed to be a statistic from the south side of Chicago that came out of gun shooting, now on the board of directors of the #1 murder capital in the world in Chicago, also on EPA all the way through Louisiana, also putting 200 kids through college out of my own pocket, with 2 nonprofits dealing with autism, not including everything that we deal as far as the homeless shelter is concerned. I mean, that's not bad for a person who wasn't supposed to get out. So again, I don't say that to impress you, I say that to impress upon you. Like somebody had asked me, it's like, well, you don't have any cards, aren't you worried about not networking? I said, I'm not here to sell packages. I'm not knocking anybody who is. I'm here to find 5 people that want to make a minimum of 7 figures, and guess what? I don't need a whole lot of cards to be able to talk to 5 of the right people. The right 5 people are going to find me. That's the person that was where I was. Where was that? That was at that crossroad where they knew they wanted to go to the next level. That quantum leap the gentleman was talking about. But we're talking about a quantum massive leap. We're talking about just jumping over the raptors. Is everybody following me on that so far? Where you stretch the mind, where somebody wants to live in a space where they understand. See, I've had an amazing journey of mentors. My first one was my father, where my book comes out this year called, I have 2 being dropped in 2015. One is actually the teachings my father taught me to be a man and a leader. That's for all the kids that never had a father at home. The second one is called No Network, No Net Worth. And that is because everything comes down to a network. Everybody opens up a door. And so in this mindset, I have one of my first mentors pass, my father, who is probably #1 in my life outside of God, who I give the glory to. My father led me to a gentleman by the name of Dr. Johnny Cochran. Has anybody heard of Johnny Cochran before?
Yeah.
The attorney? And he asked me a question when I was young, and he said,
The OG?
yes, sir.
I met OG.
And he said, Byron, what happens when somebody misses an appointment with me? I said, you just never see him again. I said, no, I'll see him again. He said, there's something as an attorney that I apply to everything in my life. It's called billable hours. They're going to get charged. And so then he said, and I'm going to ask you the same question. He said, what's your name here? Regina, how many minutes is in a day? How many minutes in a day? Hundreds of millions of dollars sold. How many minutes in a day?
How many minutes? 60 times 24.
How many minutes in a day? How many minutes in a day? You want to tell me how many minutes?
600 divided by 60 times 60.
Thank you. 1,440 minutes. He said, you know why people don't know how many minutes is in a day? Because they don't calculate their true self-worth. Because until you understand the most valuable commodity in life is time, then you'll know what your time is worth. We all saw the little blogs years ago when Bill Gates, if he actually reached down to pick up $1, a $10, a $100 bill would cost him thousands of dollars for that minute of time. See, once you get to a specific realm, then you'll understand how much your time is worth. We don't think about time until it's almost gone, until somebody is dying. And we don't think about air until we get a cold. Right now, it's just passing around you. You didn't wake up this morning thinking about air unless you couldn't breathe. See, the things that are most valuable in life are priceless. It's intangible. There's no doubt. We put a value on everything else that doesn't allow us to truly live life to the fullest. As my mentor would say, live full, die empty. You want to max out every ounce of your blood while you're here. When you die, if you want everybody to say, he lived in a mess. Trust me, he was ready to go. He was on empty. That's what you want people to say about you. I have no tears for this person because I pray that I can live half the life that he lived. How many people understand that conversation?
Yes, sir.
You want to live full, die empty. When you wake up, you want to wake up in meditation or prayer, whichever you do. You want to make sure that your mind is clear. See, just getting into that state and into that realm by itself when you wake up in the morning, that by itself is like filling up the tank. That's filling up the spirit. The spirit has to be filled before the body takes off. If you don't fill up the tank, then the body's going to run out. By the end of the day, you just said, I'm tired. How many people see people or know people every day, by the end of the day, just tired? It's because their spirit has never been filled. They keep filling it up and pouring their tank, just like the average person is actually living their life. The average person that lives their life, what do they do when they get in the car? I'm just going to fill it up halfway, and I'll get some more later. Exactly. I just put $10 in. I just put $20 in. I'll never forget, it was 1999, I believe. Somewhere around there. I got one of the first Denali's XL, the big cars. They came out off the truck. And my friend came, and every time you get in, I fill it up, and the gas was going up, and I fill it, and I put in $10, $20, $10, $50. It took like $50, $60 in, which today would be $100 to fill up the tank. And I could put in 20 I was like, get me through till Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't have anywhere to go. How many people do that? It's okay, be honest, because I was the only one that did that. How many people used to do that when you were younger? How about that? Okay. So I did that, and my friend came to me and he said, Byron, why you just put 10, 20, 30? Why you just fill it up halfway? I said, and then what happened is I created a habit. When I was young, I didn't have no money. So I just put in enough to get where I needed to go. See, habits control your life. Is that making sense, everybody? Yeah. So this habit stuck with me even after I was past millions of dollars in. But I kept just filling. He said, Byron, if you can't fill up the whole tank, you shouldn't even have the car. And it was a lesson that stuck with me. And I was like, that just makes sense. So I started filling it up, and I never looked back. I never even looked at the price. I never looked at the price of it. Other people, they start living by the price code. They start looking at what this price is. See, I wanted to create a life. I wanted to be, write this down, the architect of my own life. I wanted to be the architect, the developer, the builder. I wanted to be the producer, the director. I wanted to star in the movie. And I said, I want to create classes that I teach now. See, everybody else got all these really fancy words for their classes. My classes aren't that fancy. The first one is called Wealth 101. Wake up when you finish sleeping.
Nice.
I like that class. If you don't like the way you wake up, you go back to sleep. And you make money while you sleep, and when you wake up, you got more money waiting for you. How many people like that class?
Yes.
Love that class. Yeah. Wealth 202, how to go shopping and never look at the price tag.
Damn.
Love that class.
With a woman too?
Whatever your choice is. Don't be married though. Wealth 303, how to write one check and make all your bills go away. Anybody like that class? Debt free. Wealth 404, how to write one check and make somebody else go away. That class always fills up.
How many checks is that?
Oh, that's about 4. But does this make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Does it make sense?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Yes.
Beautiful. So I want you guys to ask me some questions that you would like to see happen in your life. What do you want to see happen in your life? You guys are all here. You guys are the leaders. I'm just the messenger. If you can make something happen in your life, what would you want to have? If you have one wish, you had an Aladdin's lamp, you could have one wish. What would that be? Anybody want to go first?
Happy and successful.
Happy and successful. And you know it. Clap your hands. Happy and successful. Now, what does that look like for you? Don't answer. Right? You taking notes? Somebody's taking notes for you. I want somebody to take notes for you. I want you guys to get something. See, when you get a chance to listen to people that live within that extraordinary mind, that space. Is everybody with me on that so far? There's no way I would ever show up to an event like this ever again without a camera, a video recorder, pen, paper. Because, I mean, if you got a chance to interview Oprah for like 3 minutes, would you just come and talk to her and not want to record everything that she said? You've always wanted to build a network like Harpo, and you would not come to take copious notes. Now, you may have heard, see, I have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on events to go and learn myself, sitting where everybody is sitting right here, hundreds of thousands. And I've sat through 3-day events where literally 99% of what the guy said, I already knew. Now, how many people know that could be interpreted as almost a waste of your time? It could be, but it was that 1%. That 1% made my comma move. That's all I needed was that 1%. That 1% puts you over the top. Is that 1% of information I didn't get. Back to why my mentor said most people don't become billionaires. Most people don't become wealthy. Anybody want to know the answer?
They don't know that 1%, brother.
Yeah, that's true. Most people don't become wealthy, you can write this down, because they think it's boring. They think it's boring. Now, I sat there when I first heard this answer, and I said, how the hell can it be boring? Getting rich is being boring. Being wealthy is being boring. Changing the world is being boring. Filling up the ozone layer is being boring. Feeding all the homeless is being boring. Being able to travel the world is boring. How is that boring? He said, because to get to that point, it's called, and here's the answer, mastering the mundane. It's boring to get to that one piece of information and learn it, to do it over and over again. How do you learn how to bake a cake? Over and over and over again. How do you learn how to do an application as a doctor or procedure? You do it over and over again. How do you get great in real estate? How did he get to over $100 million in real estate with none of his money out of his own pocket? He did it over and over and over again. How do you become an extraordinary miner? You do it over and over. Is anybody getting this so far?
Yes.
It's repetitious, doing over and over and over and over. And most people are like, oh, I got to change it. No, it's like you're going, Edison was asked, how did you actually create the incandescent light bulb? He said, what are you talking about? They said, how did you fail 10,000 times? He said, I didn't fail. I figured out 10,000 ways it doesn't work, and I'm the only one who knows how it works. Back to the package. The A in package stands for activation. Or I should say action versus activity. Action versus activity. Any great person will tell you, you need to take action. You need to fall in love with failure. You need to figure out how to fail more than anybody else. True success is not the person who actually is the person who is more skilled than anybody else. True success is not the person who actually has the pedigrees over somebody else. True success is not the person who has the most money. In fact, the most successful people have no money. They figure out a way to make it work. Prime example. True success comes from the person who makes the fewest errors. Golf, fewest errors. Tennis, fewest errors. Surgery, fewest errors. Attorney, fewest errors. That's the person that gets on the court and they get obsessed. See, I look at the people that are the most successful as in my life, like Darren Hardy, you know, the publisher of Success Magazine, and Mr. Richard Branson, the people that I surround myself from certain conversations. One of my close friends, Troy Wood, I look at people that have created massive success, and I said, what is the one common denominator with these individuals? And you can write this down. It's called an OG. Now, from the hood, me being black, that stands for old gangster. But we aren't talking about that. It's called an obsessive gene. You have to be obsessed with your dream. You have to be obsessed with your goal. You have to be obsessed. It has to wake you up in the middle of the night, put you to sleep, and you have to become so over the top that there's nothing that can deter where you're going. Nobody can knock you off your horse. Nobody's emotion, nobody's opinion, nobody's thought, nobody's conversation, nobody gives you a roadblock, no financial challenges, no relationship challenges, no nothing is going to stop you from getting where you need to go. You need to become so freaking obsessive. People are just like, he's just weird. He's in, I don't know what he's in, what he's on. I just get out of my way, because if you're going to help me get there, I need to run you over.
And I'm weird, brother.
I'm loving it. Weird makes weird money, and that's like 8 figures. Is everybody with me? Yes or yes?
Yes.
So I'm going to run through this real quick. How we doing, Gordon? Am I on track? Am I good? Good. So I used up a half an hour. I got a half an hour. Outstanding. Got to know where the tank is. In package, the C. The C stands for coach.